Hey everyone, Sam Rathmeyer here with the Wednesday Night Wine Club. This is the red wine video for February 2022. Let's get into it. All right, really excited for the red wine for this month. This is a producer called Ottomani, 2018 Chianti Classico. Ottomani is the collaboration between four friends that met at winemaking school in Florence. In 2006, after various jobs and looking for their dream location, they found this farm that was perfect for what they wanted to accomplish. Winemaking in Italy can actually be approached a couple of different ways. I think when we think about winemaking in France, in California, it tends to be a winemaker that owns a vineyard producing wine from that vineyard. Well, in Italy, they tend to kind of pull more aspects together. So this is actually a farm, 100% self-sustaining farm. They are practicing organic and biodynamic agriculture, viticulture. And what that means in a nutshell, especially in a farming environment, is that they're going to use nature to combat nature. So if they have a pest that might come up in the vineyard, they're going to allow chickens to roam through and pick all the bugs off the vineyard. They're going to let goats come through and eat the grasses in between the vines. They're going to use the manure from the cows in order to fertilize everything. So nothing goes to waste. So kind of in that nose to tail eating experience, this is that start to finish for farming. Chianti Classico as a region has a pretty storied past. In the 1800s, the Italian government actually told winemakers that they had a prescribed recipe essentially on how to make wine that included roughly 30% white wine grapes, up to 30% white wine grapes that were supposed to be incorporated into this red wine. They were making wines that were very approachable in their youth, but didn't have that ageability that the Chianti Classico winemakers were used to. And in classic Italian style, the winemaker's response to the government was a lot of this. And it started the Super Tuscan movement, where they said, you know what, we don't care about getting that Chianti Classico designation. We're gonna make the wine that we wanna make. We're gonna use varieties like Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Syrah. And it started this entire movement that backfired on the Italian government because suddenly no one cared about this Chianti Classico designation. There were a few winemakers, however, that saw the beauty and purity of the fruit, the grapes coming from Chianti, and decided to go the complete opposite way and really pay homage to what the past had been like. So this is 100% Sangiovese. Sangiovese is a very unique grape variety. I call it the Swiss Army knife of wine grapes because this is a wine that will express fruit notes, sour cherry. You get a little bit of an herbaceous vegetable tone with tomato leaf, sun-dried tomatoes, Tuscan herbs. It's got medium plus tannin, medium plus acidity. Basically, you could sit down and somebody that wants earthy, another person wants fruit forward. This works for everyone. This also pairs with essentially any food that you can think of, with the exception of raw seafood. Don't go there. Okay, enough talking, let's taste. Now, what I found really remarkable about this wine is not in how burly it is, but rather in how pretty it is. So when you think about Italian wines, there's a little bit of this rusticity that seems to kind of run through a vein. It's every red wine I feel like I taste, I can go, ooh, that's Italian. I may not know the variety, I may not know where it's from, but it has this Italian style. French wines, in contrast, don't have that rusticity. They have a little bit more of those curves, that refinement. And that's not to say that one is better than the other before you jump all over that. It's just that they are what they are. This is the Italian wines are maybe the cousin that lives out in the country, and the French wines are the cousins that live in the big city. Both have equal qualities that are fantastic, but they're just very different. This, however, has more of that refined beauty that I feel like I see a lot more in French wines, I encounter in French wines. Right off the bat on the nose, you do get those cherries, but you get even kind of darker fruited cherries. You get pink and purple flowers. This has a Syrah-like quality to it. There's a little bit of black pepper. This is definitely a Chianti Classico Sangiovese, but with a very beautiful twist to it. On the palate, this is gushy, freshly crushed berries from the farmer's market. This is walking through Tuscany and the wind sweeps up and you can smell all of those herbs. This is a beautiful wine. And I also want to touch on that when I talk about beautiful wine, and I think that you hear this a lot, that it's either pretty or strong. This has both in a complete package. So you get those beautiful aromatics. The fruit is so pure on the palate, but then on the back end, you get the tannins and the acid that create that structure, create those broad shoulders. So this really is the full package wine. And again, anyone can drink this wine and find a ton of pleasure out of it. This is not just isolated for one particular palate or preference. Okay, now I mentioned food earlier, that this pairs with everything. I'm not going to talk really about the red meats that this goes with, because it goes with every red meat, because red wine goes with red meat. Instead, I want to talk about maybe some of the more unconventional pairings that you will find. So pasta in general, red sauce, white sauce, olive oil based sauces, this is going to work. Fish, not raw fish, again I mentioned that, stay away from raw, but roasted salmon, grilled salmon, pretty much any salmon preparation, halibut, swordfish, anything grilled in the seafood area, octopus would be great with this wine. This is the wine that I bring over to someone's house when I don't know what they're going to be making, but I want to bring something that's going to work well with the food. And I have yet to find a better example of a wine that is as versatile with all kinds of food. I hope you enjoy this wine as much as I do. Let me know what you pair it with. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Cheers.